Hi, and welcome to this online video workshop called Groupon Profit Crusher, where you're going to discover secret strategies to snatch back the profits you lost to Groupon. And if you're watching this video workshop before you actually work with Groupon, you're going to discover some strategies and tactics to help you avoid losing the thousands of dollars in profits that many business owners have complained about losing with the Groupon business model. Let me start by asking you a quick question. Did you recently run a coupon offer with Groupon? Did you attract hordes of customers who only wanted the heavily discounted items or services and wouldn't spend a penny more? Were you super excited to discount your product or service by 50 to 90% and split the remaining profits by 50% with Groupon? Were you disappointed with the few little profits you did make? If so, you're not alone. In fact, according to the numerous stories from business owners all across the nation, and according to the #1 business research magazine, the Harvard Business Review, and the largest online network of small business owners with over 1.6 million members, Merchant Circle, and one of the most respected online sources of business news, CNNmoney.com, Groupon might be lethal to some small business owners. But wait, I know what you're thinking. Isn't Groupon a Cinderella success story according to the news? I mean, I watch the news every day and I'm seeing it. They're touting and there are people, really ranting and raving about it. In fact, here's some of the things that they're saying. It's the fastest growing company ever, reported by Forbes magazine, which is true. It expanded from 1 to 35 countries in a couple of years. That's also true. Launched in almost 500 new markets from 2009. Grew their subscribers to over 50 million. Worked with over 58,000 local businesses. I mean, all of these facts are true. And you know what? It sure looked really good to me at first also. But then I began to dig a little deeper, began to talk to these business owners, read their stories, find out what happened when they actually used Groupon. So let's take a closer look. Here's how the Groupon model works. The Groupon sales rep contacts you, tells you all the wonderful stories about this powerful marketing strategy they're about to unleash in your business. They promise you more new customers than you've ever seen in your entire business life, and they focus on the fact that there is no initial cash required up front. These are the things that appeal to me, and I said, great, that's wonderful. That's what started me on my journey, and I'm sure those are some of the things that you discovered and that kind of appeal to you about the Groupon business model. So here's how the Groupon works, right? Here's how the business model works. You create a voucher. You work with a Groupon rep to create a voucher that offers a discount on a product or service by up to 50 to 90%. Then you split the remaining profit, or the remaining price rather, 50-50 with Groupon. Groupon then puts up a web page on their website that offers your discounted price on your product or service to the masses. Groupon also sends out an email to local prospects who have agreed to be contacted about Groupon deals in your area. The customer then buys the voucher through Groupon.com and then comes or calls into your business to redeem the voucher. So here are the details. The Groupon rep usually advises you to look at the 50 to 90% discount you're offering customers as a marketing expense. The Groupon rep usually also advises you to look at the 50-50 split with them of the remaining 10% to 10% to 50% as a marketing expense. Also, your Groupon rep may or may not explain the various nuances to the fine print of putting a deal like this together. Things like customer limits and deal caps. And then the deal goes live. The moment your deal goes live, and once again, Groupon works with you to create a deal that will actually sell, because they don't really make money. They don't actually make any money until the deal sells and it hits a certain threshold. So the moment your deal goes live, if Groupon has done their job, you suddenly get hundreds of new customers. So that means over the next several weeks and months, you're super busy with customer calls, managing your staff, dealing with good customers and bad customers, avoiding the fraudulent usage thing like stopping the multiple purchases. You're looking out for expiration dates. You're managing the increased cost of both merchandise and bringing on extra staffing in the case that you're swamped. All of these things begin to happen. Now, from my perspective, these aren't necessarily bad things. These are just the normal cost of doing business. But let's keep going. So when you review your return on investment, you're probably scratching your head a little bit, because you're like, well, I didn't really spend any money up front, so, I didn't really lose anything. Plus, I'm busy as heck, so that's got to be good, right? Well, let's look at it. Well, What could be wrong with Groupon from a customer's perspective? Let's talk about that. Well, absolutely nothing. Customers get a phenomenal low price. They can visit a new business practically every day for a great price. They can get multiple vouchers by applying with different email addresses and information. They don't have to commit to lengthy contracts anymore. They're always getting extra bonuses that they wouldn't have gotten if they had went to the business during regular business hours. And it seems like through the Groupon model, businesses are eager to give the best discounts ever with a smile and a handshake. So from the customer's perspective, there's nothing wrong with that. But what could be wrong with Groupon from a business owner's perspective? In my research, talking to business owners, my experience, almost everything. Let me just ask you, take off the buyer hat for a second and put on your business owner hat for a minute. See, problem number one I found is it's incredibly risky. If you select a popular moneymaker product and service to discount 50 to 90%, and then split the remaining few dollars with Groupon 50-50, then you are absolutely killing your profits. So previously, before Groupon, you were getting 100% of the profits to cover the cost of buying product, materials, staffing, rent, utilities, payroll, etc. But after Groupon, you're now getting pennies, and ironically, you're having to cover an increased cost because you're doing more business, you're selling more product, you need extra staff people there. And even if you try to be a little bit business savvy and use a product that maybe there's a better margin but you're unsure of if it'll sell or not, you still have to buy the product, the materials, all the staffing. You got to train your staff. You got to do all these things to have it ready just in case tons of people buy the Groupon voucher. So you're absorbing all of this financial risk, all of this unknown risk. And let's be honest, the reason why you're in business is because you've agreed to take on some risk for potentially a much greater reward. And that's when you'll begin to see there's trouble in paradise. For example, let's take this example. Let's say your Groupon offer is for $70 worth of lobster for 35 bucks. It's a normal 50% discount. Just substitute whatever your product is or service is in this example. But I'll use the case of a restaurant who sells lobster. So this restaurant, they get hundreds of customers who buy the Groupon offer. Now, normally on a regular day, 10% of your customers for the day buy lobster because it's so expensive. It's not something you go out and buy every day. It's not like McDonald's or Burger King or something. Okay, so normally 10%. So what do? You budget, you make sure that you have 10%, you make sure you have it on hand. Sometimes you miss it by a couple, but normally 10% of your orders for the day are lobster. However, because of the Groupon offer, 50% of your total customers are buying lobster. So what happens? Well, you quickly sell out of lobster because you didn't think to order a whopping 400% more lobster than normal, because that's way too risky. It's just, you wouldn't want to shell out that kind of money in preparation, and you wouldn't want to do it without knowing, because obviously the lobster is not going to stay fresh for weeks and months while people decide to trickle in. But it gets worse. Think about it. Now you're sold out of your very most profitable item, and you must now buy a lot more to restock that item with little to no money to do so. Why? Because Groupon pays you in these little installments, sometimes in 3 installments, and they're not paying you up front. They get paid up front, but you have to wait. And the expiration date on the vouchers you sold doesn't end for 6 months. That's a problem. Problem number 2, the math doesn't add up when you use Groupon. Your Groupon offer is for $70 worth of lobster for 35 bucks. But that 35 bucks is now split 50-50 with Groupon. So your dollars generated is now $17.50, which Groupon pays out to you in 3 installments in some cases. You must also pay the merchant fees on every credit card transaction for the $35 purchase amount. By the way, Groupon doesn't pay their own merchant fees. You pay the fees for them on the total amount. It adds up. And you must continue to pay all of your regular expenses associated with selling lobster, including staffing, rent, utilities, complimentary products that go with the lobster dish, etc., and the cost of the lobster itself, which is definitely more than $17.50 per person. You can see how this quickly becomes a nightmare. You just took a moneymaker and turned it into a dog. And no, I have nothing against dogs. I actually love dogs. But you just took a moneymaker and turned it into a dog. Problem number 3. Groupon bargain hunters are not loyal to you. Groupon is building their own brand loyalty and does not generate any loyalty for your business. The customers often feel that Groupon is the one giving them the deal, not your business, because they couldn't get it through your business directly. They got it because Groupon, from a customer perspective, arm wrestled you down. The customer loyalty is to the best deal and not your business, so you're not even building your brand loyalty. Problem number 4, Groupon brings you the least profitable customers. Before you think I'm stereotyping people, just think about it. Before Groupon came along, what would you tell a person who wanted a 60 to 90% discount on your product or service? You'd tell them to pound sand, get lost, right? You wouldn't even entertain it. Would you then want that customer, once you give it to them, to tell their friends and family, who would then come into your business and want the same discount? Heck no. If they came in before Groupon, you would just tell them to pound sand, and you wouldn't want them to invite their other cheap friends in, who would then want a crazy discount. Many of these customers are generally the cheapest type of customers who only want the lowest price. Here's a fact for you. You can't stay in business long by getting hundreds and thousands of these types of cheap customers. It just doesn't work that way. The math doesn't make sense. Problem number 5. Groupon is not a coupon. It's more like a gift certificate. See, one of the things that Groupon will tell a business owner is many people will not actually redeem the coupon, which that right there is a problem because you're kind of like counting on it not working, and that's not a good business. But it's not a coupon because customers must buy a voucher first. In many states, this makes it a gift certificate, but that's not the real issue. The real issue is the redemption rate is closer to 90% or more. It's not like coupons in the newspaper where a few people actually cut them out and then remember to bring them in. I mean, those redemption rates are like sometimes, 10, 20, 30% at most. And that's doing phenomenally well. But when the customer they've already bought it through the Groupon site, you can bet your boots and jeans they're trying to come in right away. In fact, because it's not a coupon, the legality of it having an expiration date that's less than state law requires is still being decided. So, for example, in many states, you have to wait. A gift certificate is valid for 3, 5, 7 years or lifetime. So, even though Groupon says put an expiration date on it, because the customer has bought it, there are some cases where it's going to go to court, and customers are suing businesses because they're saying that you can't have expiration date on it if the state law says something I bought has to be valid for X amount of years. And so that's still being decided in the court system. So it is a little tricky, but the big picture here for you as a business owner is that the redemption rate, even if Groupon tries to sell you that many of them will not be redeemed, so it's like free money, it's not like a regular coupon because people are buying it. See, the truth is most business owners are hoping that customers buy more when they come in with the Groupon voucher. They're hoping that you can make it up when they come back. Business owners are hoping that the customers visits their business again. They're hoping to make it up in volume that they're selling. They're hoping that many buyers don't redeem it or didn't redeem it. But hoping is not a business strategy. See, while you're doing all that hoping, payroll still has to be paid. Rent and utilities still has to be paid. Suppliers and manufacturers still have to be paid. You still have to be paid. You're not doing this for charity work. And you're doing all of this with peanuts that you've just received from your 1/3 of a share of a half of the discounted 50 to 90% share of the Groupon profits. Here's 3 real-life examples of business owners who gambled by using Groupon and lost. Example number 1, Posey's Bakery and Cafe. So this Groupon rep promised them, they said that we would never have to advertise again after taking advantage of their network. Sold them on the fact that they would get noticed by many customers who may have never seen them otherwise, and it would be a great marketing opportunity. The Groupon rep told the business owners that customers really respond to deals that are over 50% discount. They offered a voucher, so Posey's Bakery and Cafe offered a voucher for customers to pay $6 to get $13 worth of product. In this case, Posey sold 1,000 vouchers. Sounds okay so far. But when the consumer pays less than 10 bucks, Groupon usually takes 100% of the money. So the business owner went back and she says, hey, wait a minute, you can't have 100%. So she negotiated to get at least $3, which is 50% to cover cost of product. Still sounds a bit low to me, but let's keep going. The business owner admits to not thinking clearly enough about the markup, which is what covers all of their other costs, like staff, rent, utilities, etc. So, although they sold hundreds of Groupons vouchers, the revenue from the campaign didn't cover any of the regular costs. So after 3 months of Groupons coming through the door, they started to see the results really hurting them financially. They had to take $8,000 out of personal savings to cover payroll and rent. It was sickening to them, especially after they had seen sales dramatically rising for months. See, using the Groupon model, you can actually sell yourself out of business. And I'm not talking about getting a buyer for your business. I'm talking about selling product to customers and going out of business at the same time. So in that case, it was a dramatic financial impact for them. The second example, Chicago Bagel Authority. They offered $3 for an $8 voucher, good for any menu item in their store. They sold nearly 10,000 Groupons, which was 10 times more than the top end of the owner's expectations. The owner was quoted as saying, "This will end up being the year of the Groupon for us, and that's not a good thing. We'll just count it as a loss." See, after splitting 50% of the revenue with Groupon, which is a standard deal for most businesses, this bagel shop netted about 15 grand for 80 grand worth of food that they put out. They didn't make a penny. They lost their food. They lost their shirts. It was terrible. They admitted finally that the promotion didn't translate into any additional revenue. Here's what the owner said. "We just don't get the kind of customer that we want to come back," said the owner, who saw patrons put items back if their total exceeded $8. "It's a lot of people that come in once for the discount. Nobody tips, and they're all trying to squeeze it into the exact dollar amount." It goes back to what I said. You're attracting a lot of the customers that you don't want. Here's another example, FTD. They sell flowers online. They offered $20 off of a $40 worth of flowers and gifts and sold nearly 3,300 vouchers. Buyers were directed to a special FTD website to take advantage of the offer. So FTD was a little business, trying to be a little business savvy. So the deal's original terms were that the Groupon could not be combined with any other offers and discounts, which were already being calculated at the regular FTD website. So if you went to the FTD.com website, you would see like those regular 10% off, 20% off discounts. FTD was saying, hey, listen, we'll give Groupon users a special deal, but they can't combine it with our specials that we're already running. You have to take one or the other. But many Groupon customers were still disappointed they weren't able to combine the discounts. Why is this? Because you're attracting a certain type of customer. The kind of customer who wants to pay the least that they can for the most that they can get. So here's what ended up happening. Buyers complained that the prices were higher than on the regular website, effectively diminishing the value of the deal. Disgruntled shoppers also noted that high service and shipping charges further depleted the voucher's value. And so here's what FTD did. This is what any business owner does when they want to save their business. They allowed the Groupon buyers to combine all the discounts and issued a refund to those early buyers who actually followed the rules and got less of a discount than others. Now here's a case where they were trying to be a little proactive, a little business savvy, and they still ended up getting people who were ticked off because they couldn't just take every dime they could. So here are the lessons learned from these real life examples. Even when you try to set up clear guidelines with these types of customers, there will be those who will want every drop of your profit. They will want to combine this 50% discount with a 10% discount from some other place that you're running, from another 80% discount that you're running from. By the time they get done, you got nothing left. And here's the kicker. Groupon wants you to sell as many vouchers as possible. So even if you want to cap it out and say, I only want to sell 100, 200, 300, whatever, Groupon is going to discourage you from doing that. Okay? Groupon wants you to discount at least 50% or more. So that's their normal. They want you to discount 50% or more. When the consumer pays less than $10, Groupon wants to take 100% of the money. And you must be prepared for every potential situation before you run your Groupon offer. You have to be prepared to train your staff to deal with customers who will make a scene because they can't combine all 12 of your discounts all in one purchase, even though every discount coupon says they can't combine it. You got to be prepared for that. You have to be prepared for your staff to do that. So here's the big lesson. A discount is just a discount. It doesn't matter the spend, the hype, the tweets, or the amount of likes you get. Someone is saving money at someone else's expense. Just because millions of Groupon subscribers have fallen under the spell of Groupon, that doesn't mean you as the business owner should also. Now here are the reasons why the discount coupon strategy is so bad for businesses. See, using discounts trains your customers to wait for the next big sale. They no longer believe your ads, your scarcity ads saying it ends Monday or it ends Thursday. So they don't rush in to buy when you want and need them to. They do it when they want to do it because they know, hey, you're going to run another sale next week. I'm not really missing anything. The discount coupon strategy erodes your pricing. You must factor in the cost of damaging your brand because of the low price. Low quality association. People connect the two. Even if it's subconscious, they connect low price with low quality. You're bringing down the value of your brand and your customer, meaning your customer views you as cheaper and the customer is actually worth less to you because you're making less money. In most cases, only new customers are being rewarded. So in the case where a business is a little bit more business savvy, they're saying, hey, we're limited to new customers. But your loyal customers are paying more paying more than your newer discount hungry customers. Does that sound fair to you? Your bread and butter customers are the ones who are getting taken advantage of. Listen, do you want the local yokels who come in every morning to keep supporting you? If you do, then you got to give them a great deal. The other thing you do is you turn your product or service into a commodity that's now shopped by many customers on price alone, like toothpaste, like deodorant. I mean, there are people that go to the store and they will not pay a penny more. You don't want to turn your product and service into that, and it's bad publicity. Do you really want to be known as the cheapest around? Really? I mean, does that really help you? Remember, cheap prices subconsciously means cheap quality, and cheap attracts cheap. You don't want to be known as the cheapest around. You want to be known as the best product or service provider at a great value. That's what you want to be known as. The discount coupon customer, the Groupon customer, is most likely to destroy your company reputation if there is any little problem. They are very active on social websites and will tell thousands of people about their imaginary bad experience, even if that experience was they couldn't combine 27 discounts on one purchase. And you could easily lose a ton of money just trying to service all of the cheap customers that you're attracting. See, in order to upsell the cheap customers, so once again, if you're just trying to be proactive and saying, you know what, let me just get them in and I'll just work to get them upsold, to sell them on something that's more expensive, that's better, add-ons and all those things. In order to upsell the cheap customers, you have to provide stellar training and support for your staff and your employees. But if your business is built on the minimum wage kind of employee, an experienced employee, they are not going to give you the high level quality upsell conversions you need to make the Groupon strategy work. Don't kid yourselves. If you're paying them $6, $7, $8 an hour, you're not going to be able to get $80,000 worth of work out of them. It's just not going to happen for any number of reasons. Maybe you get lucky, and we all have done that in our business lives. We've gotten lucky and hired somebody and kept them there and promoted them, but chances are it's not going to happen. And if you do manage to get your minimum wage staff to do the very hard job of upselling at their current pay, they are secretly pissed off at you because they're working much harder for the same pay. Trust me on this one. Once it's over, you're going to find that they mysteriously start quitting day after day and week after week. And finally, you're just screwed because you don't have enough people. And there have been businesses that have had to shut their doors for a couple of days, a couple of weeks until the Groupon was over and do it. Over time, you negatively impact the marketplace perception of the pricing of your products and services. The marketplace will start to expect to pay less, and lower prices equals less profits. All right? So here's an overview of the types of businesses that do poorly with the Groupon model. If you have high production costs, or if you're like, for example, manufacturing companies, a lot of those have high production costs. if you have high staffing costs and high production costs as well. If you have low profit margins, I mean, this is absolutely killer for some restaurants. Most restaurants I know have slim, razor thin profit margins. So the Groupon model is especially dangerous for them. And if you have a poor and low quality product, don't do the Groupon model. And the last thing that I've noticed too, if you have flexible accounting habits, and I'm calling flexible because I don't want to put a negative connotation to it, but flexible, and don't really know your cash flow situation, do not go anywhere. If you follow any one of these parameters, do not go anywhere in your Groupon until you get these things either fixed or changed, or you figure out a solution for them. Now, with that being said, there are certain types of businesses that can really benefit from the Groupon business model. Businesses where the customer is a borderline fanatic. This applies to most sports businesses or those niche hobby businesses where the buyer is very likely to buy an additional product or service because they have an addiction. Okay, country clubs, sporting goods suppliers, these all fall in that category. Also, service businesses that require follow-up work, like dentists, plastic surgeons, chiropractors, those also tend to do really well. And businesses that have very slow seasonal slumps. So if you know from the summer months that you're just dead, then you might as well do something to bring in some revenue in that season, that slow season. All right, so those are some of the businesses that do well. And then new businesses that need to grow quickly. So if nobody knows about you, you're just starting, then you need to figure out and keep watching. I'll give you some tools on how to make a Groupon campaign successful. But if you're new, then you definitely could use it as long as it's structured correctly. Businesses that sell products with high profit margins and low production costs, but also have a high perceived value for special items or services, do really well for that. So like limo companies, personalized one-on-one gym memberships, spas, beauty salons, newspaper companies, etc., where they have high profit margins, low production costs because they're mass producing, but they have a high perceived value. Okay, these are some examples of companies that do well. Now, there may be a few that I missed, but hopefully you can get enough from this to get a general idea of the kind of companies that can be successful and what these companies do. So here's how to use Groupon and make tremendous profits if you want to go that route, because it does work for some places, some businesses. So here's some tips for you. You got to become fanatical about tracking the long-term value of the customers generated through Groupon. Meaning you have to get some software or use an Excel spreadsheet or something so that you can track all their information and see how long they're buying from you, how often they visit your business, how much they're spending, how they spend. I mean, all those things. You have to become like super analytical about tracking how much real dollars came into your business through Groupon. On your voucher that you make with Groupon, you need to direct buyers to a specific website or page on your website that requires them to register their name, email address, and mailing address in exchange for activating the voucher immediately after purchasing. Okay, so once again, you want to direct them to a specific website set up for the promotion or a page on your regular website that requires them to register their name, email address, and regular mailing address in exchange for activating the voucher. That has to be a part of your process. And after they submit that, you want to try to get it all online because they're already online. And if you need some help with that, just contact me directly. But you want to try to get them to do it while they're online because they're already on the website. They're already doing that. You want to try to keep it simple. And after the email submission, after they submit their email and their contact information to you, immediately offer a product or service for the customer to buy right on that web page. Once again, if you need help with that part of it, just contact me. My information is right on the web page or in the email that I sent you. All right, so immediately offer a product or service for the customer to buy right on that web page. It allows you to capture some dollars right then to recoup some of that cost there. And then create a monthly newsletter once you capture these leads to mail to these leads because they're interested for your product. They've already bought something, a voucher from your business, in this essence, a voucher. So you want to create something to mail out to them to keep the good times rolling, so to speak. Okay. You want to use an autoresponder to schedule emails at least for the duration of the of the voucher expiration period, offering complimentary products and services that they can buy from you. All right, and you should also be adding buyers to what I call your buy or die email promotion list, meaning you're going to keep emailing them and contacting them until they die or buy, either one. All right, so listen, as long as their email address is still valid or their mailing address, keep promoting your offers to them. Okay, you want to do this at least as so if your coupon or your voucher expires in 3 months, you want to be sending out an email to them every week about additional services, like come in and use your voucher, but while you're here, we also have this X, Y, and Z product or service that you could add to it that'll make your life easier, make you look younger, make you lose weight, etc. You know, depending on your product or service. But you definitely want to be contacting them regularly. You can even have your marketing person, whoever you use, and if you need help with this, just contact me once again, but create a small 3-step postcard campaign to target the voucher buyer immediately after the expiration date with a special offer. So you can use the email, but if you're not comfortable with that and it's too big and heavy and you don't know how to operate it, then use a simple postcard. Heck, you can even use a simple 3-letter. So you'd mail out a letter, say if the expiration date was June 1st, you can mail out a letter on June 2nd, mail out another offer. And when I say a letter, I mean a direct mail piece or something that says to them, hey, you know, your coupon, your voucher expired, but we're still offering a promotion. You know, here's what we're offering, here's what we're doing. And in that case, you can customize a great offer that really allows you to make money, and you can put it all together, and you can mail it to them on June 2nd, you can mail it to them on June 15th, and then again on June 30th, and something to that effect. Or you can do it with emails. Either way, you want to make sure that, you know, you stay in contact with these people that have already bought from you. And then in the event that you run a business that you need to schedule that people, it's a one-on-one service. Say for example, if you do a spa or massage or something where they need an hour to perform your service or whatever, then require them to schedule an appointment to redeem that voucher. That way you can plan accordingly. So if you know from 1 o'clock to 4 o'clock is your slow times of day, then you want to automatically schedule the Groupon users for those slow times. That way, instead of having your staff sit around and you know play video games or play on their phones, you can actually be making some type of money during those slow times. And these are just some of the strategies. So if you need help with any of these strategies or implementing them, just contact me and let me know, and I'll be able to, you know, walk you through that. The other thing I want to talk about is the mindset that you must have to run a profitable Groupon campaign. All right, your goal should be to maximize your profits on each and every customer, not play a shell game with your profits. Okay, so sometimes in the Groupon model, when I talk to business owners, they're playing this game. They're like, well, I hope if I could, you know, even though I'm giving them a 50% discount and I'm splitting that 50-50 with Groupon, I'm gonna make it when they come in, and I got this, you know, this tricky little thing that I can do, and they make them. I'm like, no, we're not playing that game. Why don't you just come up with a nice marketing strategy that allow you to make as much money as possible? Okay, forget the "we'll make it up in volume" mantra. If I hear that one more time, I'm just gonna throw myself out the window. But no, stop it. That mantra, saying that and trying to run your business on the "make it up in volume" thing, has killed tens of thousands of businesses, because 99% of the time the volume never comes. If you would do well to just get that out of your vocabulary, never ever try to say we'll make it up in volume, and run discount promotions only if you have mapped out and tested your upsell process. So if you have a script that when customers walk in, you say, you know, X, Y, and Z, and it works in getting them interested, and then you could kind of work with that, and you can get them to buy this by saying, hey, listen, this works really well with this. You know, you need to have it mapped out, written down, and have your staff trained on your upsell process, because it's not acceptable to say, oh, I can lose $3 for every customer I get because I'm going to make it up in the long run. Yeah, okay, fine. But how are you going to make it up? Do you have a tested process and mapped out and have everybody trained in your office and your business to do that? All right? And like I said, you must be super analytical with your staff's greetings, with their training, with their upselling, with their scripts, and you got to have regular sales trainings to keep it, definitely keep it sharp and keep the best practices that you learn active in your business. All right? And here's the other thing too. This is the other thing you have to have in your mind. You need to reward your loyal customers more than new customers. I know when I say it, it sounds obvious, but so many places don't do it. So even if you run a promotion to get new customers, don't make it better than what you would offer to your existing customers. Don't do it, because they're going to find out, they read the same papers, they go to the same websites, and they're going to be pissed. And you're going to lose people, and you're going to stop seeing Chatty Cathy come in, and you're going to wonder why. Well, it's because you ticked her off, or you're going to see one of your big customers who normally buys a lot of product from you. They're going to get ticked off, and you're not going to know why. And I'm telling you why right now, because you're giving away the farm, and they've been paying top dollar for you for years, and now you're screwing them over. All right, and you must become fanatical about tracking your customers and leads. You will use every piece of information that you can get from them to track them as long as you're in business, whether it's their credit card numbers or their address, their names, whatever you can legally use it to track them. You need to know where they're coming from, where they're buying, how much they're buying, what they're spending, what their favorite color is, what their name of the dog is, their birthday. Find out as much as you can, because you want to use that. So here's a better way to build your business. You can do things like optimizing your existing website to rank higher in the search engines. And when I say optimize, I mean you go out and you do some research to find out what words people type into Google.com or Yahoo or Bing to search for your product or service, and then you use that information to write articles or put information on your website that matches what people are looking for. That's one of the pieces of the formula that search engines use to rank websites. The other thing you can do is go out to other websites and put links back to your own website. So those are some of the things you could do to optimize your existing website. You can also start a Facebook fan page for your business and reward people who are active on your fan page. There's a tremendous amount of people who are very, very active on Facebook these days, and they're your exact same prospects and clients and customers that you're using now. So you can actually get in front of them and create a fan page for your business and interact with them to build a relationship. You can run your own marketing campaigns for your customer list. Many business owners that I know of, they're very comfortable paying expensive prices for advertising in newspaper, radio, and television, but they're not as comfortable creating their own marketing campaigns. Once you develop that and have the ability to do that for your own list, it'll save you thousands of dollars in marketing costs. You can create a video marketing campaign. There are millions of videos on YouTube for crazy, trivial, and silly things. So why not put your marketing message out on YouTube and find a way to get it in front of the right prospects in order to sell more of your product or service? You can start an in-house email campaign to your current customers. So instead of hiring an outside firm to do it like Groupon would do, what you can do is use your own database that people who've already bought from you, who trust you and like you enough to give you money essentially. You can email them on a weekly or a couple of times a week even in some cases, and build a relationship with them and notify them of the current sales and promotions that you're running now. You can also create a Facebook pay-per-click advertising campaign. In the last year or so, Facebook has started this advertising vehicle where you can actually go to the website and create ads, and they'll put the ads on web pages for relevant users on the Facebook website. And I'm sure you've seen them already if you're on Facebook. You can also hire a business consultant to improve your current marketing. You can improve your current staff's upsell and closing ratio. You can partner with other local businesses and do what we call cross promotion or ad swaps, where you send out a postcard or a letter to their list of customers and then they send out a postcard or letter to your list of customers. You can start an article marketing campaign, which is a great way to build credibility in your target market and to build backlinks to your website. You can buy banner ads on other websites and drive that traffic back to your website from there. Or you can simply create a blog on your website to interact with prospects in order to build a relationship and to help them feel comfortable buying from you before they actually buy from you. Okay? See, the truth is, there are dozens of ways to grow your business and profits without slashing your prices by 90% or more like the Groupon model requires. But you have to get back to basics, and you have to remember that unless you're a nonprofit organization or a church or some other organization, your number one goal every day is to make a profit, not to slash your prices. These general broad sales like deals of the day allow customers to cherry pick your best products and eat into your already compromised profit margins. See, when a business owner develops a habit of discount couponing, the owner often realizes way too late that they literally sold themselves out of business. Okay? So remember, your goal is to increase your profits, not lower them, not slash them, not discount them, and certainly not discount them and split them with someone else who's actually not doing the work or paying for the overhead like you are on a daily basis. Okay, so here's some final thoughts that I have for you. There are two ways that I can help you today. The first way is I can help you by implementing proven marketing strategies in your business that allow you to keep 100% of your profit. Okay, that's the ideal goal. Or I can improve and redesign your Groupon campaign in a way that will give you a much better chance of making true profits up front. All right, so just contact me today and I'll have one of my marketing specialists work with you one-on-one in order to help you grow your business. But remember, the number one goal of your business is to make profits, not to slash your prices and slash your profits. All right, thank you and have a great day.